Speaking to Audrey Chirenje, our regular bookworm. Good morning, honey.
Good morning, Marisa. Looking lovely as usual.
Thank you, and you too, here all the time. And bubbly, your consistency is actually quite, motivating, I must say. I need to learn from you.
Thank you.
So now we've got this amazing book. It's called Anaishe, and it's written by Jackie Chikambure. A very interesting story. I have been going through the synopsis of it, and tell us about this story, Anaishe. It starts first giving us a definition of what Anaishe means. Let's get into that first.
Right. So Anaishe means she is with God, but is he with her? That's the
twist of it.
That's the twist of it. So I must say, Jackie, well done on this. Page turner. It's a thriller. It's fiction. It's amazing. You won't want to put the book down.
Well, I like that description. This page turner.
Oh yeah.
Not a book. So I'm gonna adopt that. So why is it such a page turner, though, Audrey? Tell us about the story in this book.
All right. So I know there are people who love these books with like 300 pages plus. So this is one of those books, and it starts with a scene in a taxi, based in South Africa. In a taxi, that's our combi here, and she's sitting. Anaishe is sitting in the front, and counting the money. And then, as she's doing that, she's got a knife put on the side of her stomach.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Somebody's trying to stab her.
Yes.
Okay.
So it starts with that. And then
that's very thrilling, isn't it?
Very thrilling. And then the next chapter, you then get into the story. Like I said, you just need to keep on knowing what then happened. And this is a thriller. And you can even finish the book and you still won't understand what exactly happened. Yeah.
So, for it to be so thrilling, the story is about abuse. She talks about abusive relationship, abusive marriage and stuff, how she gets out of it. Just a little bit of a step into what that is.
Okay, so obviously she has a bit of a flashback how she met her husband, and then they had a son, and then financial struggles, etc. While the husband goes and spends the money, the usual stories, and then he's abusive.
Right.
And because she has a child, so she stomachs all the pain. She doesn't even cry out because she doesn't want the son to hear anything. So for years, this man is abusing her.
And she keeps it to herself.
She's learned not to scream because, and for me, that was actually a very painful sentence. She learned not to scream because she didn't want the son to hear. And then the one day she actually fights back. And then on the flip side, we've got another lady called Mercedes, raised on the other side of town, rich, Santa in the suburbs, went to a good university, and she's also in the media industry. She's a journalist, and she leaves for these exposés. And then we also get to look at her life on that side. So you've got two leading stories in the book, which makes it very interesting.
Wow, that is incredible. Like, I know now, look, we're talking about gender-based violence, and obviously this is a topic that we need to learn and get lessons from. And I do understand that there are lessons that we pick out from this book. What are some of the lessons that we pick out from this?
So, number one, there's resilience in the face of adversity, and then domestic violence and its effects. And then there's the complexity of justice, because we find that alongside there's also another, an investigative cop. His name is Jan. He's investigating this series of murders which will be happening in the city. And it's a series of murders of men who are abusive. So someone is going around and killing these
abusive men.
Yes.
Okay.
And then so that's where the whole complexity of justice is. And then the impacts of secrets and self-identity, love and friendship, and then the role of community and support systems.
Wow. So for community and support systems, and I do know when some people are being abused, they keep it quiet. As you said, she learned not to scream. How does she then get help from the community? Did the community force her to get help from them, or she actually ran into them?
Okay, so fast forward later on in her life, she leaves her miserable job, and then she actually opens a restaurant. And then alongside this, there's also a shelter which had helped her when she was on the run with her son. She eventually went to a shelter and they offered help. And I think that supports about the community. Even the one time, this shelter actually gives even clothes to babies of people who don't have, you know.
Right.
So it's your proper community women's shelter. And then she also ends up forming a movement just supporting women. Yes. So it's at the end, it's a book of hope, resilience, trials, but triumph as well.
Oh, that is really good. And you speaking on trials, I mean, it's a trial. When some people go through abuse and I say, "Murumanga andirova," the first question you hear some people ask is, "Why te?" What did you do? And an interesting concept in this whole story is talking about how Anaishe is now seen either as a killer or as the hero. So it's like, it's your fault, what did you do? So it's kind of reminding me of that. Did she kill the guy, or she's actually the hero of this? Did you get to that part of the book?
I did. And like I said, that complexity. So, there's self-defense, and then there's also people who always wonder, it's just a thin line between those two extremes. And I like the quote from the book, which says, she has sat up with her back against the wall and questioned how her life had come to this. So you're talking about abuse, and more often than not, people who are being abused, they don't even know the extent of the damage that they will be getting from the abuser. Yeah. It's only years later
the trauma catches up to you.
It catches up with you, and then you'll be like, what was I doing? What was happening? And
I think the most important thing to actually think about when you sit down and thinking what was going on is how you've come out of that and still managed to stay alive. So, just being strong and going through that tumultuous season, I guess, is the key.
And, I like that question you asked, that when something happens, people will be like, what did you do?
Yeah.
And I'm always amazed that whether it's women or men, I think either gender perpetuates this domestic violence. But when it's your own child, your own daughter, your own sister, your own aunt, that's when it hits you that hard. But when it's someone else's child, it's like, what did they do?
Yeah.
So I think we really need to change the narrative on this sensitive subject.
Right, you're really right. And tell us about the author of this book, Jackie.
Okay, so Jackie is, she's all things books. She's a Zimbabwean based in South Africa. And she's got a couple of accolades. She's won so many amazing awards in very prestigious writing events.
And does she just, how many books has she written?
This is like her third book.
Oh, right. And are they all fiction or
thrillers?
Thrillers?
I think her latest book now is actually a sci-fi.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. So she's that good. And then she runs an organization called Tell Our Story. So she's all things very passionate about books. Yeah.
I love that Tell Our Story, because look, if you've got a production theater in her mind like that, just the synopsis of this book, I can actually see a movie of it.
Netflix. Jackie, if you're listening, you need to put this into Netflix. We need a film out of this.
That is incredible. Now, where do we find this book, Anaishe?
The book is available on Amazon, and then right here in Zimbabwe, you can get it from Book Fantastics. The price of the book is $14.94 or 280 Rand. So grab a copy. You can find her on social media. She's on Twitter. She's on TikTok. She's got a website called tellourstory.org.
That is incredible, this book. So one other key thing, I know you did give us that quote in the book. One other key thing that you can give us to take from this book, what was it for you?
I think obviously the author is a Christian, and yes, you will see the remnants of it in the book. I think sometimes religion is used to actually perpetuate the abuse of women. Yeah, and I say this with reverence, yes, but I feel that sometimes, people will actually quote the Bible based on what they think should be used just to perpetuate the abuse.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sad.
It's very sad. So what advice or what would you say to not do that?
I think, I know a famous person, I think people should learn to read the Bible for themselves. And also, religion, we need to also just do your own research and just be wise about it.
Yeah, somebody was also telling me that the Bible is an interesting book, and he says these people are making it their story and not, so you just kind of say, read your Bible. So that just kind of sprung up in me, like, read your own Bible, have a revelation of what God is really telling you in all situations.
And then people should stop using the Bible to bash people. So that's why they now call it Bible bashing. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Audrey, for that. Listen, this is a great book, and I do hope I will get my hands on it and read it. You did say it's $14?
$14.94 and 280 Rand.
Okay, and on social media, where do we find Jackie?
Jackie is on all the sites, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Lady Writer _J. She's got a website, tellourstory.org. She's on Facebook, tellourstory.org.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Audrey, for this captivating story. Very good. And good for you, Jackie. This looks like a very interesting read just from reading the story and, the kind of lessons that we get out of it. So please keep doing the work that you are doing to make a voice for some of the stories that are hidden. As you said, what was that statement again? Learning not to scream.
Yes, learning not to scream. People should not suppress their emotions.
They shouldn't suppress, so we should really learn. And thank you for putting that out. Thanks so much, Audrey. We'll see you again next week.
Konapo. Ipapo pa ZTN Prime. DSTV channel 294. The place to be.